Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of November, nearly birthday time. I hope you're well. I'm using the Tarot of the Abyss for you today. If the reading resonates with you, there will be an extended at the end. That's the first link in the description box. And the second link in the description box is the 6-month overview that I did for each of the signs. It runs from July to December, obviously, with only 2 months of that period left, but they are knocked down accordingly. So if you want to check them out, that's the second link. What else do I have to tell you? Oh yeah, I know these readings are late. Thank you for waiting for me. I do appreciate it. If you saw the live stream the other night, then you'll know that I have reasons why. Reasons why this is late, but nevertheless have my gratitude. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Sagittarius. Can I have 3 cards for Sagittarius, please? Well, that took a bit of work. So we've got the Justice card in your recent past. It's a card of Libra in the Major Arcana. About current energy. One came out a bit quicker. We have the 10 of Cups there. That's a lovely card. And one more, what's coming towards Sagittarius. We have the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. That's interesting. We have the World card here. So there's 2 cards of completion sat here on the table, but I see a peaceful transition from wherever you are now through what is completing out to the other side, to whatever the new thing is, because we do have the 4 of Swords underneath that there. Now I'm going to pull some clarifiers and see what else is going on here. I'm not too concerned about the 2 of Pentacles, I have to say, but well, you know, being in reverse at least anyway. Let's have a look. Why is the Justice card here? Fuck. Okay, we have the Sun card, which is the card of Leo, and we also have the 6 of Swords. We have the 10 of Cups, please. We have the Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. Interesting. And tell me about the 2 of Pentacles, please. We have the Page of Cups. Fuck's sake. And whatever that was down there. And the Emperor. Intriguing combination, although it's Pisces and Aries, and that is a combination that comes together relatively often. We have the Death card at the bottom of the deck, again followed by the World. This is a reading of endings for you, Sagittarius, but they feel extremely positive. Oh my god, extremely positive. And I shall get into for why. Like, the Death card for me, although it is given to be a card of endings, like that's the way everybody sees, oh, you know, something's going to end or whatnot, right? I've said this before, I see endings and beginnings as kind of essentially the same thing. It just depends whereabouts in the process you are and what perspective you're looking at it from. But Death really is a card of transition more than endings, because it speaks about a transformation of state, right? Something going from one thing to another. And yes, there are usually endings included in that, but there are also beginnings, you know, an equal and exact opposite number of yeah, of beginnings. The fact that the World card is coming up here twice in the shadow cards at the bottom of the deck, there is a major cycle that is repeating for you here, and it does feel, it feels incredibly positive, actually, Sagittarius. If you've been kind of waiting for something to shift, something to change, and exercising that incredible patience that you have sometimes with these things, it seems to me like November is the month where this may happen for you. Now, again, I want to point out that it's a peaceful transition. It's one that you have made your peace with. So I don't want you to worry about, you know, things ending suddenly that you hadn't anticipated. This feels like it's something that you have been waiting for some time, patiently, but nevertheless waiting for. So in your recent past, we have this Justice card. Now, the surface interpretation of this can absolutely talk about things like, you know, contracts, any kind of legal proceeding and stuff like that. If you have had things like that to deal with, then they quite likely have resolved very recently. I mean, it would include things like divorce in that as well, right? That's a legal proceeding. It's a termination of a financial contract, which is essentially all money, all marriage is, from a legal perspective at least. Obviously not from a moral or emotional perspective, but there we are. But the other thing that it talks about is stability and balance, right? When things are balanced, things are stable. It's having everything feeling like it's turning out the way that it was supposed to. And you know, we can get into questions of karma, and we're going to be very careful about that, because karma is neutral, right? It's not about wishing karma on people. Karma is merely the consequences of your actions, negative or positive. It honestly depends on your perspective, right? But I do get the sense that, Sagittarius, you have been done wrong many, many times in the past. And what is happening for you is almost like a blooming that's going on now. It's almost like maybe some of you have found your tribe. Okay? Maybe you've got away from people who were narcissistic or toxic or stuff like that. You know, people who kept you in some ways kind of trodden down in some way. And that process for you has been going on for, you know, good year, 2 years now, like moving away from those kind of people and finding more of the sort of people who not only accept you for who you are, but exalt you for who you are, you know? There's no criticism now with the people that are around you. And those things about you that you were told were difficult, that were told, you know, just didn't function correctly. You know, you weren't a good, upstanding member of society because, you know, you did this or you did that or you did the other, or you weren't committed enough to something, or you didn't pay enough attention to these things, you know. And I think that you internalised that and you carried that around for a very long time. Now, where you find yourself now is blooming, blossoming. There's a burgeoning return to self. I think that's the way that I want to put it. Because there isn't this sense of you needing to defend yourself anymore. And you can't put a price on that. That's a precious thing. It's clarified by the Sun and the Six of Swords. Now, the Sun is the card of Leo in the major arcana, right? So if you're dealing with a Leo, that could well be the thing. But it talks about joy, it talks about positivity, it talks about the ability to be vulnerable and not be afraid of attack. And we've got this white horse here, which is a symbol of innocence, often. But we've got this little naked child on top of it here, right? And it's in no fear of being attacked. It's in no fear of, there's no need to defend itself. It's not armoured in any way, right? It's just feeling the warmth of the sun on its skin. I'm actually drawn to the centaur is the symbol of Sagittarius, and we have a horse and, you know, a young man, a small boy on there. It seems like you're rediscovering yourself. That's how it seems. And whilst at this point, you as a Sagittarius are that fused human and horse. You know, you have the mind of a human. You've got that ability to be able to, see into the future and calculate odds and stuff like, you know, this kind of, you know, human characteristics of the ways that our minds work. But then you've also got the determination of the horse, the stamina of the horse. It seems like for the first time in your life, it's all balanced, Sag. They're not in conflict with each other anymore. You know, that wild side of you that, you know, wants to be free and gallop off and do, you know, X, Y, and Z. But then the human part of you that feels a sense of responsibility, you know, and understands duty, knows that there are certain ways in which you need to toe the line, no matter how much, you know, actually, no, that's bollocks, right? You don't ever have to do that. But You understand what I mean? You know, the uniquely human concerns that would not concern the horse. These two things have been in tension for you for a very, very long time. And it seems like the balance is here. The balance has finally arrived. And rather than that wild part of you being something that trips you up, something that causes arguments, that you know, somehow seems to summon criticism to you like a magnet. That tension is gone. And everything's held in perfect alignment. Yeah. We've got the Eight of Swords and the Five of Pentacles in reverse here. There was the tension, you know, the Eight of Swords being the way in which you kept yourself mentally restricted, and you perhaps compartmentalized yourself. You know, perhaps there was the domestic Sagittarius, you know, the good spouse, or at least attempting to be the good spouse, you know, a partner, family member, whatever. And then there was the wilder side of you, the one that wants to explore, the one that wants to go and, you know, have new experiences and be exciting, and, you know, at its extreme end, be hedonistic. You know, it could be that you kept all of those parts of your life really quite separate. But it feels like there isn't really a need to do that, because as you have brought yourself into alignment, the people that are around you are not just tolerant of, and this is the important thing, not just tolerant of this, but genuinely support these different aspects of you. And it feels like you can bring it all together into one now. That's what I'm seeing. And with this Five of Pentacles in reverse, like understanding that really your path was coming to this point where if you are surrounded by people who are judging and criticizing these aspects of you such that you need to feel the need to keep everything separated, then that was a way in which you were not honoring yourself and honoring your Sagittarian nature. You know, and it was time to find new people, and I do think that that's what you've done. And we've got the Six of Swords here. Six of Swords, thank you. Yeah. We've got the Five of Cups and the Seven of Wands. Essentially, I don't usually pull this many clarifiers, but it seems to me like it bears exploring, like it needs to be explored for you to truly understand the magnitude of the shift that has occurred in you over the last 1.5 to 2 years. Because what you are leaving behind is this. You're leaving behind all sense of grief and loss and isolation, possibly. You know, and these have been difficult topics for Sagittarians to explore, right? And it's been done in a very nuanced and subtle way. You know, the grief has shown itself to you in a very nuanced and subtle way. It's not like, oh, you know, I had this family member who died and then I went off the rails, and although it might have been like that for some of you, more it was, actually feels like it was death by 1,000 cuts. That's what I heard for you, Sagittarius. You were rejected in so many small and seemingly insignificant ways. But when you put them all together, you know, the end result was kind of pushing you to this compartmentalization, not just of your life, but of the way that you experienced it, you know. And we've got the Seven of Wands there, which is a card of needing to defend yourself, needing to protect yourself. What is going on here is a complete dropping of defenses where defenses are not required. And defenses shouldn't be required in just you going about your business and being a Sagittarius with those that are nearest and dearest to you. That was what was. It is not what is now. And that is, it's a stunningly beautiful transformation, Sagittarius. Now, when we move into your present energy, we have the Ten of Cups. And I really like this for you, because we already saw the Nine of Cups. Did we? Did I see them? I feel like I saw the Nine of Cups somewhere. Maybe I didn't. It made its presence known to me, even if I didn't see it, right? out there about your emotional stability, your emotional well-being right now, like it's in a much better place than it ever has been before. And that is good, because a 10 of Cups situation requires more than one person going in with their shit sorted. Their emotional shit sorted, their baggage, their projections, their worries, their insecurities, you know. And it seems like wherever you are at the moment, you have found that. You have found your tribe. Because if the 9s are about the individual and the individual's responses, which they are for me, then the 10 becomes about the collective, where there is more than just you, whether it is a partner, friends, family, children, whoever, you know. It can be you and another, or you and many others. And it could well be that every relationship that you have at this point is really feeding value into your existence. And it feels like it's giving you a sense of contentment. I'm being asked to point out to you that it's not about the environment that you're in, it's about the way that you show up in the environment now and the way that you are received, you know. It's very, very important. And 9 of Pentacles right there at the bottom, right? It's resource management. Right? You're not putting your energy and your resources into shutting bits of you down or running forwards for the sake of running forwards, you know. You're content to be in the garden of your own creation, you know. Now, we've got 2 major arcana sitting underneath this 10 of Cups. Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. Like I said, the Wheel of Fortune is a Sagittarian card. Judgment, I'm not sure if it has a strict correlation, but it always seems quite Scorpionic to me, and it's quite interesting that we are in Scorpio season right now. The Judgment card can talk about your judgments, in which case, you know, the judgment that you have displayed in getting yourself to where you are right now is top notch. Or it can talk about opportunities coming back, right? And it's prefaced with a card that speaks about opportunity and fortunes improving, right? The possibility here that possibly something that you thought had passed you by is kind of resurfacing, you know. Now, I'm going to pull some clarifiers because I have there are other interpretations that are sitting vaguely at the periphery, and I want to know whether I need to bring those in or whether they can stay out there on the periphery. Tell me about this Wheel of Fortune, please. I've got the Wheel of Fortune clarified by the 7 of Pentacles, which is the only card that came out there. Give me another one for the Wheel of Fortune, please. Okay, now. Sag, what the fuck? I mean, cards are going all over the place. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune, please. We've got the Magician. Right, we've got a whole heap of cards that were tumbling out here. We've got the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the Moon card, interestingly. We've got the Page of Wands, yeah. And the Hanged Man. Right, which sort of leads me to bring in these other interpretations, because what I was vaguely feeling was that there was a relationship with your ability to manifest, which I think is very good. Generally in Sagittarians, what you want, you tend to get because you've got that singular focus, you know. But also, you've got that incredible self-belief when everything's operating effectively. For some of you, you might have tried to manifest something to yourself and it's not happened. And there might have been a minor knock in confidence about that, leading you to continue sitting in a 7 of Pentacles, you know, whatever it is that is around you that needed to be changed and for some reason hasn't quite shifted in the way that you wanted. But it's here with the Magician, there's almost like a resurgence of self-belief in your relationship to that fortune energy. It's almost like you had a minor wobble, but now you're back. Tell me about the Judgment card, please. Thank you. Queen of Pentacles. Self-belief, nurturing, and Queen of Wands. Yeah. Because it's very intriguing. Like, wherever you are, it's really good. But there's one small thing. Or maybe it's a small thing, maybe it's a big thing, right? But in the grand scheme of things, compared to everything else that is going right, it is a relatively minor distraction in the context of your life. And it feels like it's material in nature. So it could be something to do with your job. It could be something to do with your home. It could be something to do with, you know, what you have tried to provide, and for whatever reason it hasn't quite worked out the way that you planned. But with this Judgment card, it does feel like this opportunity is coming back around again. It may not be wearing the same clothes. It may not be exactly what it was before. But the underlying core of this is that it is the same opportunity, if you know what I mean. And we've got these double queens here. It's very strong feminine archetypes of receiving, you know, with the Queen of Wands. I should point out it's because queens are receptive, right? This receptive feminine energy. But we've got the Queen of Pentacles here, which is about the management of pentacles, being energetic currency, time, care, effort, money, love, you know, whatever it is, putting those into the right place. And perhaps with a calmer, more sensible approach than you were given last time. And then we have this Queen of Wands here, which is about confidence, having confidence in your decision, having confidence in the fact that it will all work out. We've got the Eight of Pentacles and the Strength card underneath here. Which is another card of Leo, but it talks about growth. And it's interesting, it's almost like you've had to have a small minor wobble to come back even harder than you were before. And harder, but by harder I mean this, you know, the amount of energy, the amount of push that you can put into a situation. It's sort of screaming forward motion. It's like the scar tissue, you know, when it heals, it's stronger than what it was before. Bones, when they snap, you know, after they've healed, where it's knitted up, it is stronger than before. And this is your sense of faith in yourself to be able to manifest what you need for you and yours. It's had a minor wobble, it's had a little snap, a little tear, but now it's rebuilding, you know, and it's stronger than it was before. This is a bizarre reading, Sagittarius. But we're going to go with it, because what you've got coming towards you in November is the Two of Pentacles. Now, I said to you I wasn't really that concerned about that, because the Two of Pentacles in its upright form talks about being able to balance, you know, lots of things. When we're back to Pentacles again, so energy, time, care, effort, money, you know, material situation altogether. We've got that kind of balanced in the air. But I feel like the thing that you've been waiting for is the opportunity to disrupt that, so that you can change whatever the Seven of Pentacles situation indicates for you. And November sees that coming in. Okay? November is that disruption. It is that destabilization. And notice that we don't have a tower. It's not a sudden shocking energy that just kind of rips everything up from the root and you're like, holy shit, I've got to begin again. It's not that kind of disruption. This feels like a disruption that you have both anticipated and been waiting for. Well, that's two words that mean the same thing, right? You've been waiting for, you've been genuinely trying to pull towards you. Like, this is a change that needs to happen. This is a shift that needs to happen. I'm welcoming in the instability because I know that this is the stepping stone to what it is that I want. And we've got here the Page of Cups and the Emperor, which again, like I said, it was an interesting pairing. But what we've got there is a new direction for your emotions to travel in, right? You see all of the Pages of Cups as a starting point of a new path. But we've got you rapidly accelerating up to Emperor status off the back of that. And we've got the end and the beginning here in zodiacal terms, because we've got Pisces and we've got Aries. Again, we're kind of back to this notion of transition. Transition through disruption, but disruption that you have very much been almost petitioning for. You know, whether it's your higher self or the universe or source or God or whatever it is that you term it. Like, there have been petitions made and it feels like they are being heard. Tell me about this Page of Cups, please. And the Knight of Swords. And the Devil card. Yeah, now, ordinarily, you know, most people think of the Devil card as being a very negative tarot card, but there is no card in the tarot that is all negative or all positive, and actually everything that falls within the material realm is the purview of the devil. And since it seems to be something in your material circumstances that is what you are trying to shift at this time, then what we've got here is the capacity for solidification of that intent, of those petitions that you've been putting out, and it becoming manifest in some way. It starts small, but it gains momentum very, very fast. Tell me about this Emperor card. The Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups. We've got the Three of Swords and the Tower in reverse. Good Lord. What is going on here? I'm going to just pick one more deck. Like, I don't usually use anywhere near these amount of clarifiers for a YouTube reading. I usually save this for Vimeo, but God, I'm nosy. What's going on here? King of Cups. Yeah, see, there's a huge transition. Again, yeah, it's a huge transition and a huge swelling up here, Sagittarius. You've grown so much during this period. And in that way that is so uncomfortable and yet seems to be some sort of universal truth. You know, we grow when we are uncomfortable. We grow when we're put into a state of confusion and we don't really know how the fuck we're supposed to deal with it. You know, all the ways in which we try and deal with it don't work out. And we're like, well, shit, this is my tried and trusted method of dealing with things. Why has it abandoned me now, you know? Tower in reverse. Feels like the disruption that you are trying to bring in for yourself, that which is well managed and structured and planned, in some ways relates to a way in which you are trying to stave off a bigger tower that perhaps you could see coming in some way. And the point is, you're successful, because we've got the Father of Cups, that Scorpio energy there, and we've got the Strength card. Like, both of these cards talk about tremendous growth. Now, it seems to me that you have you absolutely have what you want coming towards you, whatever form of disruption this is, whatever change it is that you're trying to bring in to stave off something else, but that you've learned an awful lot along the way for yourself, and that almost is more important than you finally getting what it is that you want. There have been some lessons learned, there have been insights gained, and you have grown emotionally and spiritually as a result, which is a very interesting perspective. But, you know, I said initially that this was a reading of endings or transitioning endings. And it is. But the new start almost isn't you getting what you want. It's what you've learned while you weren't getting what you want, Sagittarius, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and I'm going to pull this apart a little bit more and examine it, because I am extremely nosy, and it's taken quite a lot of unraveling here. The energy is pretty dense, in so much as there's been so much going on and it's compacted into such a small space that you know, kind of had to allow it to spring out a little bit. But just you know, that just that very emotion that we're talking about there. It feels like that's what November does for you. And it's almost like your joy is almost all the more significant to you because of the difficulties of getting to this place in the first place. Whew, right, okay, so I'm going to go to Vimeo now. If you would like to join me over here, that would be awesome. If not, no shade, I will see you next time. But November looks like it's going to be a really good month for you. So know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.